Hey, I'm Joel with Power Stance Import Export, and if you came across this video through an eBay listing, thanks for watching. That's what these videos are for. But if you happen to stumble across it through a random YouTube search or suggestion, also thanks for stopping by. We are the largest supplier of Land Rover Defenders in Michigan and in fact most of the Midwest. You can call us at the number listed below, or you can find us online, Facebook, Instagram, or this YouTube channel at Power Stance Import Export. We've also always got new inventory coming in, which means new videos, so please like and subscribe. And again, thanks for checking us out. Hello, and up for sale today, I've got a beautiful 1987 Land Rover 130 in tuxedo black. Now this is a UK import, so it's right-hand drive. It's been legally imported, now located here in Michigan, and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So if you stick with me, I'll show you the inside, the outside, the underside, and we'll go for a test ride. So, as you can see, it's painted in tuxedo black. We've got a nice light bar front bumper. Bunch of work's been done to this vehicle, especially underneath, and we'll show you all that in later parts of the video. All new suspension, bushings underneath. It rides superbly, all right? And it has had a engine upgrade, 200 TDI, and this engine has not been cleaned off. I have not detailed it or power washed it anyway. This is how clean it is. It does not leak, and I'll show you underneath the video later. Transfer case, transmission, all super leak-free. Real clean engine bay. As you can see, bulkhead, footwells in great shape. No patches or repairs. And I would venture to say that this has been a new bulkhead, because you could look behind here and look at how fresh and clean this metal is here. There's no rust or anything, no corrosion in the bulkhead, in the backside. So I would say this is a new bulkhead, or it's been replaced at least within the last 10 years or so. A couple little dings and scratches here and there. I would say the paint job is incomplete. There's a few sections where super glossy, like the wings, the front wings, the doors have all been repainted, and then there's sections like the bulkhead. This is kind of a flatter gray, and the bonnet, super shiny, glossy. So it hasn't had a complete full paint job. Like the pillar here in the center, this hasn't been painted and it was left out. So the doors, the roof, the bonnet, the wings, all painted in gloss black. And then for some reason, you know, the cab corners, flat black, are, you know, a little bit faded, chipped away. So the bed, pretty decent paint as well. But so the paint isn't, you know, exactly perfect. I mean, and that's the only thing I can really fault this vehicle on. The doors are brand new. Wheels and tires are great. These are Mach 5 Land Rover 5-spoke steel wheels, brand new set of tires as well. And again, this is a 130, so it's super rare. If you have this, you're probably the only guy in the whole state to have one of them, or a whole county at least. Only a handful of these. I mean, more than a handful, but there's probably only a couple hundred in the whole country. So rear chassis, super good, and we'll get underneath the vehicle later. But I'll just show you what I can from up top right now. Rear cross member looks great. I don't see any patches or welds on the chassis as well. And again, shocks and springs are all new. Runs and rides fantastic. Little nicks and scratches here and there, but again, it is a 1987, 30-some-year-old off-road vehicle, so it's gonna have its little battle scars here and there. Bit of a scratch there in the bed. We do have a full-size spare with matching wheel as well, and a bit of a rubber mat here in the bed. Sliding rear window, And again, the doors are in great shape. And the door bottoms as well. On the interior here, we've got a rear bench seat. Headliner is new. Looks like just kind of a regular generic headliner material. And again, I believe these are replacement doors because they're in pretty decent shape. Okay, I don't see any welds or repairs, maybe a little bit of surface rust right there, but the door bottoms are in great shape. In the front here, these are aftermarket seat covers in great shape as well. Center cubby box, 5-speed LT77. We got a set of speakers. There is a center console, a UK mud center console here that hasn't been cut into yet, so you can put a touch screen or a regular radio. Little tiny bit of rust popping through on the corner of the bulkhead right there. Little bit of corrosion on the hinge for the windscreen. Windscreen seal though in great shape. And again, this is flatter black paint. And then you can see the super glossy paint on the doors. So the doors were painted recently, and a little bit of touch up on the windscreen frame and bulkhead. So again, I'd give the paint job a 6 out of 10 or whatever, but it's super glossy in most of the sections. Up front here, we got an aftermarket grille. We've already looked up front. We don't need to repeat ourselves. Checker plate on the bonnet. There's a light bar up top. No lights are attached at the moment. And we do have 110,000 miles on the clock. Fuel gauge works properly. Temperature gauge is working. And she fires up. Super smooth running 200 TDI. Not knocky at all. Very quiet actually. Good look at the oil. Oil looks pretty clean. And no smoke out of the tailpipe. And real quick, just another look at the driver's side doors as well. All in great shape. No rust at the corners. Yeah, I think these are brand new doors, and they're, I mean, not brand new, but they were replaced recently. Real good shape. And as I'm getting ready to mount the camera here in the back, I flip forward the back seat, and I noticed that there's also a set of speakers in the rear here too as well. So it looks like it's got 4 speakers, 2 up front, 2 in the back, and ready to be hooked up when you get your new radio. And I totally forgot to point out the best part of this vehicle. And I don't even think this is a custom personalized registration plate, but if anybody asks you what kind of vehicle this is, you can say it's a 130. Okay, it's just endless jokes and icebreakers. All right, so starting off here in the rear, I can already tell there's a bunch of new parts under here. New drums on the drum brakes, new shocks and springs. You can see the brand new bushings there on the bottom of the shock. New end links on the sway bar as well, and sway bar bushings look fresh. That's a new ball joint on the A-arm or A-frame. Axle looks nice and dry. I don't see any leaking out of the fill plug or coming out of the pinion seal at the bottom. And driver's side, the same thing. And there's a look at the bottom of the chassis rails and the rear cross member. Everything looks nice and tidy. I don't see any holes or repairs. It's just got a nice liberal coating of rust proofing on here. Pretty solid looking rear chassis. And here's a look at the passenger side chassis. Chassis rails. I actually don't see any repairs. Outriggers look fantastic. Normally if these were going bad, they'd be all flaky, and you can even, I mean, these look brand new. They're in great shape. And again, here's the other The 130s have 2 sets of middle outriggers, and they're in great looking shape. And there's the front outrigger and the front radius arm ball or bushings. Bottom of the battery box, nice and solid. And up front here, it looks like we got a new set of swivel seals, and the hubs have been off. There's a new gasket there. Also, we do have a sway bar up front as well. Looks like new end links on that. So pretty much this whole vehicle has had all new suspension bushings and parts, because it does ride very smooth, and that's definitely the reason why. And passenger side swivels looking great as well. All right, and lastly, let's take a look at the axles and transfer case. That looks bone dry. No leaking out of the pinion seal. Drive shaft universal joints look good. That definitely looks like a new drive shaft. And the transfer case, that looks fantastic. I don't see anything dripping out of there. And there's the back side of the flywheel, bell housing. And then let's see if we can get a good look at the bottom of the oil pan there. Nice. And there's the, it looks like the front axle's been apart with a new seal on there as well. So tons of new parts here underneath. Oil pan, no dripping. Transmission, no dripping. Transfer case. Everything looks super solid underneath. Okay, before we take her down the road, just want to say a couple quick things about the vehicle that I personally like. Obviously, it's a 130, so that right there makes it super unique. It's a quad cab pickup. This is the original OG quad cab pickup off-roader, way before the Jeep Gladiator came out. So, you know, cool points right there. Other things I really like about it, again, it rides fantastic. I actually just took it on a 3-hour drive up north, and I'll insert some of that footage right here. Alright, just a little highway driving, cruising at 70 miles an hour. Nice and quiet in here. A little bit of wind noise from the doors, but other than that, super solid in here. So on the highway, it does great. Cruises perfectly at 70 miles an hour. It didn't even come close to overheating. It was actually to the left of center on the temperature gauge, being that the temperatures are a little cooler out right now. So it runs fantastic. Absolutely no oil leaks after the 3-hour drive. Gear changes great, braking great, tire balance great, alignment great. So let's just take her through the gears real quick, and we'll show you how she runs and drives as best we can on video. Anyways. Alright, brakes are nice and smooth. A lot of times you can start off in second gear, no problem. There's second gear right there. Actually relatively quiet in here. Even on the highway, there was hardly any noise other than wind noise. Pretty smooth, especially with all the new suspension parts on here. It just goes down the road, super planted. It absorbs all the bumps. No rattling, no tinny metal on metal noises or anything like that. And this is 4th gear, accelerating uphill. 40 miles an hour or so. Wow. All right. Brakes work, obviously.